We got Tex 800 rated in blue UEF on the top left side, opening first land against Mephi, opening double land with no Mephi, who changed his mind on the factory placement. He's 1900 rated, going green Cybern.
And, so which one of these guys was drunk again?
Tex. Tex.
Oh, that critical factory misplace hurts. Hurts my soul. Alright, Tex going for 3 mexes, then rush Hydro, and he's already got a power generator down. Mephi skipped the initial power generator, though. So just a Hydro for him.
Both is fine, I suppose. If you want to assist your ACU while building the air factory and extra power generators heavily, you should go for this extra power generator. But if you're not planning on doing that, just leave it away and don't build the power generator before the Hydro.
I think Tex has got a very confused build order because he was randomly finishing off some mexes with engineers and whatnot, and then the assistance on the Hydro was a little bit odd. But he has succeeded in getting a mech marine away down the center. The problem is that Mephi also has a hunter going down the center, and they are going to cross paths. So maybe mutual KO? Mech marine will win in a 1v1, right?
Mephi should win because he's got the scout.
Oh,
and the better micro, I guess.
Micro!
Oh.
5 HP.
That's the first time I see Mephi lose a lap fight.
Well, apparently Vortex has better micro when he's drunk. Alright. Mephi going for second air after 3 additional P-gens on the Hydro. And on the north side, Texas got a second air factory as well, but he has severely underbuilt his power.
Oh yeah, like this map is pretty much the definition of power stall.
But he's hard stalled mass, so it might not actually make any difference. He is 12 mass in the hole on 11 income.
Oh yeah, he's trying to operate 2 factories and build another on 4 mixes. That's,
he's also queued a naval factory and like 9 land factories. That's an interesting approach.
It's a very difficult map. It's a very difficult map. Stalling here is super easy. Either mass stall, power stall, or build power stall.
And Tag Craftiest gets out of control so quickly.
Yeah, just when you think you're no longer stalling, something else starts stalling.
T1 Bomber was able to pick up a single engineer and some damage on the P-gens, but overall, I don't think that bomber was worth it. Definitely not as a rush item. Tech's moving his ACU to the south, so he'll secure that expansion handily. Is there a specific way to move your ACU on this map that is generally accepted? I usually see people move to the opposing corner where they move their ACU north and south.
Yes.
Is there a reason not to go right and left?
I guess there is, and that's probably travel time. So the place where the ACU goes is closer than the other place. And because it's closer, you can support it more easily if it's in danger, because your factories can just rally the units there quickly.
That does actually make sense. Mephi actually went for another hunter. It's going to pick up an engineer kill over there in the center. And there's another Mantis raiding on the lower side of the center pass. So nice little pickups there, just getting those expansioneers out of Vortex's hands, trying to prevent any more mass coming under his control. Striker to the right, going to get picked up by an ACU. And Tex is going to be a little bit ahead on his naval expansions, I think. Mephi's got 2 engineers out, though, so that probably won't last very long.
I think Navy is... Oh, you mean the naval expansions? Yeah, right. True.
Yep.
Tex is quite a power stall, though. I wonder what he's building. What's so expensive?
Too many factories, I think.
Yeah, it's probably the factories. That's true.
He's already working on his 4th land factory.
It was the factories and the ACU building the 4 corner mixes at the same time.
And he has a radar on the front line.
Right. Most people, when they calculate the power generator requirement of their builds, leave out mass extractors, because they typically don't amount to much. But if you have multiple extractors in the same place, or you have, as you call them, expansioneers arriving in different expansions at the same time and building mass extractors at the same time, you tend to start power stalling if you did not take this into account. And that's why maps like this one, but also maps like Twin Rivers, require you to overbuild power, and because most people just don't think about the mixes, they power stall if they don't.
Wow, I did not actually realize they cost 30 power to build.
Right.
That's crazy.
And with an ACU it should be 60, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
So think about it. Your ACU stands there. Most people minimize travel time, so they're going to place it in a way where it can construct all 4 mixes without moving in between. And that's quite the power drain you did not plan on. It's like an air factory.
60 mass per tick for a fairly decent amount of time.
Yeah, like an air factory building a bomber.
Looks like Tex has got a few more units on the field than Mephi does, but Mephi's economy is just so much better established. I think that he's going to be able to come out ahead pretty quickly. They've got about the same amount of land factories online as of now. Tex is still struggling to build more power up. Mephi ahead by about 60 per tick on his power supply. Does have a land factory on the forward edge as well. So he's going to be able to stream units in from a closer location, also knocking out Tex's mexes on the north side. So that expansion is going to go down as well. I think Tex just had a bad start on this one. That power stall at the beginning of the game really hurt him.
It's very hard to keep track of what's happening on a map as complex as this, where you have naval, land, air, everything close together, lots of mixes, lots of reclaim, lots of options to stall, and
it's a
complicated
difficult
layout.
map to play.
Yeah, I do find that it's also a difficult map to cast.
To me, it's always a pain in the butt to figure out what to do as far as upgrades go, because your home base, the Hydro and the 2 rear mexes, are actually able to be damaged by frigates in the water. So if you're not careful and you go for one of those early mass extractors in the back of the base, then you're going to end up losing it to Navy. And then by the same token, if you upgrade a mass extractor too far towards the front, you're not going to be able to protect it from land units either. So you end up in this weird predicament where there's not really any totally safe mexes to upgrade. And I don't know. Sometimes it comes down to spam war. Sometimes it comes down to trying to secure naval control, get a point defense or 2 up so you can protect your base and then tech up in the rear. It's all up to the player style.
I may be able to help out with that. Like the first 2 mixes you want to tech are the ones on the small plateau next to your base, because they cannot be raided by Navy. They are on the plateau. And the only thing that can realistically...
Can destroyers hit them?
I don't think so. But like, if you don't take mixes because you consider destroyers could kill them, then that's probably the wrong approach.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's... So,
Navy was a flat statement. I was curious if you'd encountered T2 from that point.
I don't know that. But by the time T2 Navy is active, those mexes will have repaid their cost many times over. So it's always a good idea to upgrade these 2 first. And the rest of the mixes comes down to whether you have air control or Navy control. If you have Navy control, you upgrade the underwater mixes. And if you have air control, you upgrade the mixes on the small islands.
Okay. That actually makes a lot of sense. Good tips. Looks like Tex is going to be able to maintain control of the south expansion temporarily, but the ACU from Mephi is moving to the left now towards the home base, and Tex is not going to be able to react in time to that. Tex has actually shifted to T2, which is a bit of a weird thing to do, seeing as he was already struggling for map control. Maybe the pillars can help him out here, but I don't know that this is going to put him in any kind of good position.
I think Tex just doesn't have the build power to make anything work, because Mephi is raiding so quickly that Tex is forced to rebuild, but he doesn't have any engineers to rebuild with. He can use the chain sport to drop engineers over the map, but if he does that, then he won't have engineers in the base. And since he's low on unit count, he cannot afford to build many extra engineers. So I think this is kind of death by build power. He didn't have any engineers in the expansion next to the ACU, and that's why it's been offline for such a long time. That's probably difficult to recover from this.
Looks like Tex is on a 15 mass detriment versus Mephi, and he's only running about half the power at this point. So it's going to be pretty difficult for him to bring anything back online that can contest this amount of production. Looks like Mephi is pushing with a total of 11 land factories. Tex has got his singular T2. Oh, nope, he has actually gone for support factories.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got 4 T2s and then 4 T1s.
Pillars are absurdly strong in the current balance, so we may see something surprising. If Mephi isn't careful, he could actually lose his units to the pillar push. Like, what's the build time of a pillar? 22 seconds, really? Only 22 seconds, oh my god, that's almost like a T1 unit from a T1 factory. That's actually crazy. So
Mephi does have energy storage and the power to overcharge, though. So Tex is going to need to be careful where he uses his T2.
Yeah, pillars hunt in groups. You may overcharge 2 or 3, but there's another 20. So it's very difficult to deal with.
Fair enough. Fair enough. T2 factory is online for Mephi as well, so there will be some rhinos to contend with.
Pillars are actually the most scary thing in this game, in case you haven't known, Brink.
Even for someone true to the cause as you are?
Yes, they are scary. Because they kill any amount of Aurora, they swarm ACUs, and like, there's power shields protecting them, so your gun ACU doesn't work against them. And there's flak mixed inside them, so gunships don't work against them. Essentially there's a pillar and you can as well give up. That's sort of how pillars work.
They're fast too, which is annoying as all get out.
Oh yeah, and they're tanky and they're strong and they're cheap and they're fast to build, and there's many, and yeah, they're just pillars, I guess.
Tex has actually gone for the gun upgrade too. This might be a map control swing.
We see some counter rhinos from Mephi.
And Mephi is dropping the T2 upgrade, so he will be able to build point defense or any other things that he needs to defend his commander with.
Oh,
but the pillars are already back in the base.
Look at this pillar count. Look at it. So
21 pillars.
Yeah.
21 pillars versus what? 3, 4 rhinos?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's ridiculous. The Medusas are able to stun the pillars, though. So
yeah, they are.
The Medusa spam is a pretty solid counter to this, although counter might be a strong word. But it is going to give Mephi a chance.
Most high-ranked players argue that a 1-to-1 ratio between Rhinos and Medusas is the best mix for Cybran in the T2 stage. So that's probably what Mephi is going for. You can see he's actually spamming Medusas from many factories, and he's got 4 factories making Rhinos now. So that's
Tex has actually forgotten about his units on the front line. That's going to cost him quite a few pillars. And I think his advantage, because Cerberus turrets are now going down in the center here. While not strong individually, they do rack up damage over time, and there's 2 of them. Couple that with the stuns from the Medusas, and it's a pretty effective stop to all of the spam. But there's even more pillars moving down from the north. We're now up to 27 total, even after all of the deaths that happened.
I think it's a bit of a mistake that Tex has not been upgrading his additional T1 land factories to T2. They could also make pillars. Like, honestly, the cost between pillars and strikers is not, like, it's not a huge difference. What it drains on your eco per second, I believe. Like, it's twice the amount? No. Yeah, it's twice the amount. But,
Tex
like,
is up on the front with his ACU now.
pillars are so ridiculously mass efficient. It's not even pretty.
He does have only the gun upgrade, so he's shedding health very quickly. This might not have been a good idea.
This might have been the perfect idea. Hard to tell. I guess he's a bit overconfident now. But look at those pillars. This may be
He's good.
This may be the perfect play actually, because the ACU took all the fire for the pillars, and the pillars can now just kill the base.
Oh my goodness.
What a hero.
Death by pillar. That's a bad way to go right there.
Like, Mephi can still hope to have some air factory outside his core and snipe Tex with air. I don't think he's got any air. Yeah, 4 fighters, ridiculous.
That was an awesome play by Tex. I would not have thought that that would work.
It's pillars. Pillars cannot possibly fail. I told you they're scary. They're so scary. Oh my god. Even Sirens die to them, not just Aeon players.
Now we're seeing pillars move to the north to try to take out that base. Oh my. There's a tack launcher up there.
Yeah, that's Mephi's ace. If Tex stands still,
got 2 missiles in it.
If Tex is going to stand still, he's going to die, I think. But he would never stop, and he's about to get veterancy.
Those pillars will be able to kill that tack launcher. Tack launcher firing away. What you going for? Maybe the T2HQ? Probably would be the best target at this point.
What have... Oh, right, yeah. That's true.
Looks like it. Gonna connect with the factory, and there's the next.
Honestly, I thought this was a Tokido type TML. One that's specifically built to kill an overextending ACU when it stands still. But apparently it wasn't.
So, there's a little problem that I see here.
Which is?
Mephi has got his T2 production online, and there's now approximately all the mass in front of his base.
Yeah. So maybe the pillar push did end up failing. I believe at some point Tex just... Okay. I guess at some point Tex just gave Mephi too much time to build up this point defense in his base. Like, he could have just continued with the pillar spam instead of going bottom left to take out these mixes.
Naval control has been won. It looks like Mephi's going to be content with killing off all of the mass extractors and just not trying to exploit Navy. He's just going to keep building on the land. Mephi's still 10 mass per tick ahead. Tex is dropping tanks now to go and kill those mesas on the north side. But Mephi's doing a pretty fantastic job of keeping Navy and the mesas, the air expansions, under his belt.
Mesas.
Lots of economy advantage to be had there. Mesa, plateau.
Oh, Mesa. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Sorry, accents. My bad.
Another tack launcher down for Mephi, so he's going all in on that one. Actually, 1 tack missile to the face. Nope. ACU's regen past that point. So Tex can survive 1 tack.
We are at minute 19 though, right?
Yes.
Well, he could die to the tack. It's not 6k yet. Okay, now it is. Okay, whatever.
I'm at 1936.
Okay, yeah, that's you're not far ahead. Maybe 10 seconds.
Those rhinos moving to the south are going to be able to take out the expansion. The one thing Rhino does have going for it is that it's able to pack a lot more mass density into one location. So a rolling group of rhinos is going to be more dangerous than the equivalent number of pillars. But pillars are going to get there more quickly, and Tex still does have enough to defend himself with. I think that mass donation at the midpoint in the game, though, is going to be the deciding factor, because now Mephi is scaling up far past what Tex can produce.
It may not have been the mass donation itself, but just the overall flexibility of the setups. Like, the setup of Tex, because it has been very low build power for now, and it's still kind of low power, is just not very flexible. Mephi is on the less path-dependent setup. He can go T3 land, he can go T2 air, he can go T2 nade.
He's already gone T3 land. He's got his first brick out on the field right now.
So Tex just doesn't have this kind of flexibility with setup. It was sort of all in and it failed. And sure, the mass is absolutely great for Mephi, but even without it, I think if the units had just disappeared without leaving a wreckage behind, Mephi is in a good position after defending this attack.
His overall unit count, I think, were all the units in the same spot and going head to head, I think Tex would still win out because he does have so many pillars at this point.
22 versus 14 rhinos? I don't think so.
Really? He has that many?
Mephi has 14 rhinos, yeah.
Okay.
And 22 pillars are like nice in the early game, but not so nice anymore.
That brick is actually going to get dropped by T1 transport to the north side. I'm at 2220, by the way.
Oh. Are you in +2?
No, I'm at +1.
Okay, whatever.
So now there's a brick on the north and a brick going up the center. That's going to give a bit of a range advantage over the pillars and hopefully allow him to press these units back as he moves towards the base. Got a Titan on the field, so UEF T3 has arrived. Percival next up. I don't know why on earth you would build a Titan first. Maybe a misclick?
A Titan again. I don't want to guess. It's
I find it suspicious that he only built one and then immediately went the other direction. Oh
yeah.
No! The TAC launchers are heading in and there's no TMD still. He's going for the T3 HQ.
Oh, right. I wonder if Mephi actually kept the tags back to fire multiple at once so that the TMD is like, you know how when you just have one TML and you TML, the opponent builds TMD and the next couple of TML
the last missile
are not going to connect.
And there goes the T3 HQ.
Oh, really?
There was still a chance, a slim one, but a chance to come back from that, but I think that single TAC missile removed all doubt of who was going to win this.
Brink, do you think that he waited until he has many TML before he fired them? It would have made sense, right?
I think he did. Those were fired much too close together to have been waiting on the build time, especially considering that the TAC launcher is unassisted.
Right. That's something I never do. If I have multiple TML in the barrel, it's because I forgot. But if I didn't forget, I would have launched them immediately. But that's something to consider. Just okay, maybe it's something to consider for Cyberns.
So I think with Cybern it's more important because with Aeon all you got to do is throw a couple of engineers on it to assist, and the firing cycle itself is so slow that you can reload the missile in between the firing cycle pretty easily if you get enough assistance on it. On the other hand, with Cybern, because it has the quad barrel setup, it launches back to back to back to back. So if you give it time to get 4 missiles in the chamber, you get a bit more of a surprise effect, as long as the guy doesn't scout it and then build TMD.
Yeah, I think Aeon TML has Asperger's.
To a certain degree.
Yeah, the way they fly too, it doesn't make sense.
Well, GG on that one. Tex, that game swung back and forth a couple of times, and Tex almost brought it back, but Mephi just played super solidly the entire time.
Yeah, those tryhard rebuilds with the chain sport all the time.
Yep. Good game. Good game.
Mephi cannot be killed by pillars. That by definition makes Mephi more scary than pillars.